Worry has become an epidemic in today's world. We are consumed by stress, haunted by regrets from the past, and paralyzed by fears of the future. Instead of living in the present, we find ourselves trapped in a cycle of anxiety, endlessly ruminating over events we cannot change or outcomes we cannot predict. But what does worry truly accomplish? Does it prevent misfortune? Does it correct past mistakes? Or is it simply a self-imposed burden that drains our energy and robs us of peace? Worry is a strange affliction. It serves no practical purpose, yet it dominates our thoughts and emotions. We agonize over things beyond our control, obsess over futures that may never come to pass, and replay past mistakes as if we could rewrite history. But what if we could break free from this cycle? What if, instead of allowing worry to consume us, we adopted a perspective that rendered it powerless? Throughout history, great thinkers have grappled with this very question, offering timeless wisdom that transcends the ages. One of the most profound philosophies to address the futility of worry is Stoicism, a school of thought rooted in discipline, self-control, and the acceptance of what we cannot change. By exploring Stoic principles, we can reshape our relationship with worry and find clarity amidst life's uncertainties. Stoicism, a philosophy born in ancient Greece, teaches that worry arises from a fundamental misunderstanding of control. The Stoics believe that much of our suffering stems from our attempts to influence things beyond our power. External events, the actions of others, or even the inevitability of our own mortality. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, left behind a collection of personal reflections known as meditations, which serve as a guide to mastering the mind in the face of adversity. Aurelius, who ruled one of the largest empires in history, faced pressures that few of us can imagine. Yet he maintained an unshakable composure by reminding himself, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This principle lies at the heart of Stoicism. The only thing within our control is our own response to the world. Everything else is beyond our influence. Consider the Stoic analogy of the archer and the target. The archer can train diligently, perfect their technique, and aim with precision. But once the arrow is released, its trajectory is subject to external forces. Wind, the movement of the target, or sheer chance. The archer can control their preparation and effort, but not the outcome. Similarly, we can control our actions and intentions, but the results are often beyond our reach. Worrying about them is as pointless as trying to command the wind. Worry traps us in a cycle of illusion, convincing us that if we think hard enough, we can control the uncontrollable. Worry does not prevent bad outcomes, nor does it create good ones. It merely drains our energy and distracts us from what truly matters. Make the best use of what is in your power, and take the rest as it happens. Some things proceed from ourselves, others come from without. It is foolish to worry about what is beyond our control, for it was never truly ours to command. Worry often stems from our attempts to control the uncontrollable. In our desire for certainty and security, we try to manage things that are beyond our influence, whether it's the actions of others, unforeseen events, or outcomes we can't predict. The Stoics urge us to make a clear distinction between what is within our power and what is not. If something is within your control, take action. If it is not, let it go. This shift in focus from external circumstances to internal response is a powerful practice that frees us from unnecessary suffering. By focusing only on what we can influence, we direct our energy toward what truly matters and stop wasting it on futile attempts to change the unchangeable. Imagine preparing for an important presentation at work. You've put in the effort, researching, practicing, and ensuring every detail is perfect. But on the day of the presentation, technical issues arise. The projector fails, your slides won't load, and the audience grows restless. Anxiety sets in as you try to fix the problem, and it feels overwhelming. Now ask yourself, what can I control? The Stoics would argue that in this moment you cannot control the malfunctioning equipment or the reactions of the audience. However, what you can control is how you respond. You have the power to remain calm, to adapt to the circumstances, and to deliver your presentation with confidence, even without the slides. You can choose how you interact with the audience, how you convey your message, and how you manage your own emotions. By focusing on these aspects, what is within your power, you regain a sense of agency, even when things are falling apart around you. This allows you to reduce unnecessary stress and approach the challenge with clarity. This principle of focusing on what is within our control applies to countless aspects of life. You cannot control how others perceive you, but you can control how you present yourself. You cannot change the past, but you can learn from it and apply those lessons moving forward. You cannot predict the future, but you can prepare for it by cultivating resilience, planning for potential challenges, and staying flexible in your approach. When you stop trying to control the uncontrollable, you free yourself from the burden of worry and open yourself to greater peace and clarity. You learn to focus on the things that matter most, which are within your control. Your actions, your responses, and your ability to adapt. This mindset, rooted in Stoic wisdom, not only reduces stress, but also empowers you to navigate life with greater confidence and composure. Do not dwell in the past, do not dream of the future, concentrate the mind on the present moment. One of the most common sources of worry is our tendency to dwell on the past or obsess over the future. We replay past mistakes, imagining how things could have been different, or we anxiously anticipate future challenges, fearing what might go wrong. These mental patterns often consume our attention and rob us of peace in the present. But the Stoics remind us that the only moment we truly have is the present. We suffer not from the events in our lives, but from our judgments about them. By constantly revisiting what's already gone or worrying about what is yet to come, we create unnecessary suffering for ourselves. The Stoics teach us that the true source of distress lies in how we interpret the events of our lives. When we shift our focus away from the past and future and bring our attention to the present moment, we can break free from the cycle of worry and find peace in the here and now. Consider the practice of mindfulness, which aligns closely with Stoic principles. Mindfulness encourages us to be fully present, to engage with life as it unfolds without being weighed down by past regrets or future anxieties. When we practice mindfulness, we are not burdened by thoughts of what could have been or what might happen. Instead, we are able to appreciate life exactly as it is. This does not mean ignoring the past or neglecting the future, but rather approaching them with a sense of detachment and perspective. We can reflect on the past, learn from it, and prepare for the future without allowing either to dominate our thoughts or steal our peace in the present moment. In essence, the Stoic practice of focusing on the present moment encourages us to recognize that our power lies in what we can control right now. The past is behind us, and the future is uncertain. But the present is ours to shape. By focusing our energy on what we can do today, we free ourselves from the chains of worry and unlock the peace that comes from living fully in the moment. Do not seek for things to happen the way you want them to. Rather, wish that what happens as it does, and you will be happy. The Stoics remind us that attachment to outcomes is a source of suffering. While we can control our efforts, we cannot control the results. True peace comes from knowing we did our best, regardless of the outcome. Success and failure are temporary labels. The real measure of a life well lived is the effort we put into it. Think about an athlete training for a competition. They can control their diet, their training regimen, and their mental preparation. But on the day of the event, countless factors are beyond their control: the performance of their competitors, the weather, or even their own physical condition on that particular day. If the athlete becomes overly attached to winning, they set themselves up for disappointment. But if they focus on giving their best effort, they can find satisfaction regardless of the outcome. You can study diligently for an exam, but you cannot control the questions that appear. You can work hard on a project, but you cannot control how others perceive it. You can express your feelings to someone, but you cannot control their response. By detaching from outcomes and focusing on effort, you free yourself from the anxiety of unmet expectations and find fulfillment in the process itself. Marcus Aurelius put it this way: "The art of living is more like wrestling than dancing, because an artful life requires being prepared to meet and withstand sudden and unexpected attacks." Life is unpredictable, and outcomes are never guaranteed. But by focusing on what we can control, our effort, our attitude, our actions, we can navigate life's challenges with resilience and grace. One of the most powerful practices in Stoicism for reducing worry and anxiety is negative visualization. This concept involves intentionally imagining the worst-case scenario, not to dwell in pessimism, but to prepare ourselves mentally and emotionally for potential adversity. By visualizing worst-case scenarios and reflecting on how we would handle them, we confront our fears directly, which paradoxically can reduce their power over us. Rather than being paralyzed by fear of the unknown, we build mental resilience, gaining a sense of inner peace and control. For instance, imagine the fear of losing your job, a scenario that might initially overwhelm you with dread and anxiety. The thought alone might trigger a cascade of worries: financial instability, the fear of finding another job, the potential blow to your identity and sense of security. However, if you consciously take the time to visualize this worst-case scenario in detail, you might find that you begin to see it from a more balanced perspective. You may realize that you possess valuable skills, experiences, and connections that would allow you to secure another job or even explore new career paths that you hadn't considered before. Losing your job could push you to pursue something more aligned with your passions or open up opportunities for personal growth you might otherwise have overlooked. Negative visualization is not about fostering a negative mindset, but about building a mental framework that makes us more adaptable and capable of navigating the uncertainties of life. It's about accepting that hardship is inevitable, but that we have the strength and resources to handle it. In fact, when we prepare for the worst, we often find that the reality of the situation is less terrifying than the imagined fear. The man who has anticipated the coming of troubles takes away their power when they arrive. This profound statement reveals the wisdom of preparing for difficulties in advance. When we imagine adversity before it strikes, we rob it of its ability to surprise or overwhelm us. We don't merely survive the challenges of life, we face them with courage, clarity, and even a sense of opportunity. In doing so, we become less anxious, less reactive, and more capable of approaching each situation with equanimity. You can't step into the same river twice, for other waters are ever flowing onto you. Everything in life is transient. Our successes, our relationships, even our very existence. The world around us is constantly changing, and nothing remains static. This impermanence is a fundamental aspect of life, yet it's something many of us resist. We often cling to the illusion of permanence, whether it's in our material possessions, our accomplishments, or the people we hold dear. The Stoics, however, remind us that this attachment to permanence is the source of much of our suffering. When we expect things to last forever, we set ourselves up for disappointment, anxiety, and grief when they inevitably change or fade. Soon, you will have forgotten everything. Soon, everything will have forgotten you. The difficulties we experience today, the struggles that seem overwhelming, will one day fade into the past. The relationships that bring us joy or cause us sorrow will transform with time, and even our own lives will come to an end. In this context, the impermanence of our lives becomes a reminder that suffering too is temporary. The pain we feel in a difficult moment won't last forever, just as the joy we feel in a moment of happiness is fleeting too. Rather than viewing the impermanence of life as something to fear, we can choose to see it as an invitation to live fully in the present. Think of the beauty of a sunset. Its colors are vivid and rich, yet they last only a short time before fading into the evening sky. It's this very impermanence that makes the sunset so precious. If the sunset were eternal, we would take it for granted. Its beauty is magnified by its fleeting nature. It's because we know it won't last forever that we pause, we observe, and we appreciate it in its full fleeting glory. In the same way, the experiences of our lives, whether joyful or sorrowful, are all temporary. Our worries, our struggles, our moments of doubt or anxiety, they are all transient. The things that stress us out today, that feel so overwhelming, will one day become distant memories. When we realize this, it becomes easier to let go of unnecessary worries and focus on what truly matters.